Welcome to this issue, this training lesson. It's on advanced article marketing, and we'll go over some tips on how to maximize the return of your efforts, because article marketing, whether you're doing it yourself or you're paying somebody else to do it, is a use of resources. You want to get the maximum return of those resources. So first thing we have is, next slide. In this lesson, of course, we're going to talk about proper article length. We will talk about increasing the uniqueness of your article and why it's important to try and get unique articles. Here's a hint. It has to do with getting more links back to your site. And the right way to automate article submission. There are some wrong ways to do it, and actually I'm not going to talk about those because that's just focusing on the wrong thing. But basically this is a good way to do it, and you'll see what that is in this video. So here we have an article that I've pre-written, and because I didn't want to make you watch me write an article, 600-word article, and put it all together. So what I do now, and you'll see where this makes sense a little bit later on, is I have created this article, and you'll notice I have multiple titles. I've created 5 different titles, and I've created 3 different introductory paragraphs. And you'll also see where I've made the body. So here's intro 1, intro 2, intro 3, and then title 1, title 2, title 3, and so on. So I've made each title different and each introduction different. They're completely rewritten. They're not really spun. They're just giving a different introduction. And the idea is that when you are submitting these articles to the article directories, then they will look somewhat different, and the idea is that they'll be different enough so that the search engines will see them as different and give you more links overall back to your site, which you'll put in your article bio. Now, as for the length of the article, the software that I use, the submission software that I use called Submit Your Article, they do recommend, in fact I think they force you to have an article that is 600 words long, which I've found, even though writing is not my favorite thing, it's not too hard to do if you like the subject. So that's another good reason to at least be somewhat interested in what you're doing. Of course, the other alternative is just to hire somebody to do it. And if it wasn't so easy for me, I'd probably do that. And as I get busier and busier, it becomes a better idea to have somebody do that for me. But you need to hire a good writer and make sure that they know what you want, and which is another good reason to do a video like this, so you can show exactly what you want and to provide examples, because you're not going to be able to read this on your screen most likely. So so I've created an article that is about 600 words long. It reads fairly well, and there's no tricks, there's nothing special I'm doing in here except that just talking about the subject that I like, and this one happens to be talking about process versus outcome, and focusing on the process as opposed to focusing on the outcome. And writing articles is part of that process that you should be doing for your business anyway. So now back over, and by the way, this program that I'm using is called TextPad, and I like using text files just because I know that Microsoft Word isn't going to stick any funky formatting or do anything like that to me, and I use the white text on black background just because I think it looks cool, and I think it's a little bit easier on the eyes for me. So that's the reason for doing that. So alright, so switching over to the Submit Your Article software. Now this is a web-based service, and so you go ahead and log in. Now ahead of time I've had to go in to the different article submission sites like eZine Articles, Articles or Go Articles, any number of them that you could name off the top of your head, and I've set up accounts with them ahead of time and then entered that account information into the software. And so you can see here that I've used this already. It's only showing my last 4 articles, but this is something I use on a fairly consistent basis. And so What I'm going to do is I'm going to enter a new article here, and the title, now wants my title and my article, and so I'll go over to here, I'll select my title, so this is just the first one, and I'll take the article, so I'm going to take my first introduction, and put that in here, and then I will take the rest of the article, copy that, put that in here, and it's going to tell me I have 648 words, so I'm good as far as length goes. Now the resource box, this is important because this is where you get a link back to your site. And so you have a plain text where you're not going to be able to put a link in, but you'll be able to type in your link, and I'll show you how that works. See here that I have several different versions of my article bio. And so I'm going to take one of these, and this would be a plain text version. Now there's a link here, but it's not a hypertext link. So if it shows up in their if somebody copies and pastes it, it'll show up in their browser possibly, or they can just type it in. But it's just a text link. It's not going to be a live link, and so but certain article directories require that. So I'll copy that, and I will bring it over here. So there's my one plain text. Now I also get to put in an HTML. So we'll take that, and it's basically the same version. And on the CompleteMarketer.com blog. And now what I'm going to do is on this one, now what I have been focusing on is the keyword MLM training. So I'll highlight that, and then what I'll do for my MLM training page, so put it there. So now it's a link embedded in the article bio. So wherever that gets submitted to and hopefully picked up by other people to put on their sites, I'll have a link back to my site. In fact, that very page that talks about MLM training, which the search engines would seem to like. Now a short description, and I didn't write this ahead of time, and I'm kind of bad about that, so I'll write a description here. Alright, so I put in a quick description here, short description, no more than 450 characters. So we just did that. And now for some keywords. And so let's see, I think I might have some keywords in here. That'll work. Because I leave blank because these articles also going to be hosted on the Submit Your Article site. The category, we'll call this Business General. Now it's going to be a fairly crowded category. But that does actually best describe what I have. And moving the window down here, and so we'll go ahead and preview that. And so it lets you take a look at the article, read through it, and I have read through it a few times already, so well, it's good. We'll go back here. Sorry we had to shut that down rather abruptly, but YouTube limits videos to 10 minutes. So there's about another 9 or 10 minutes more that you probably want to see and show some cool stuff there. So just head over to thecompletemarketer.com where you'll be able to view the rest. That's my blog. You'll be able to leave a comment with any questions